So season 3 ended like a while ago, and I'm now making a review of it. So let's get into it. So Invincible season 3. Now I was like really excited watching this with my boy Thanos. I really liked it. And you know, I've rewatched it, so I have my like full thoughts on it. I fully cooked on it, and I do have some things to say. We already know the animation is not good. Let's get that out of the way. It's not, okay? But it's fine. It's still serviceable. It's definitely watchable, okay? That's about it for the animation, okay? The visuals and stuff, they're downgrade. I don't really like how it's yearly, but I like it at the same time because a yearly release means I don't have to wait for it, and I'm sure the narrative like juices are going to keep flowing. But I will say that Invincible is a piece of media that really deserves fast hitting animation. It really deserves a little bit more time on it. I would be willing to wait 2 to 3 years, but I know a lot of people probably don't feel that way, and so we're probably just gonna get yearly for like a minute. I hope at least for like their last 2 or like last season, they work on it for like an extra long time, you know. But you can tell that the team has priorities when it comes to animation, because the last episode is animated very well. It's very beautiful. It's not like any other. It's not really like any other thing in that season, and you can tell all the animation is impactful. It's smooth. There's extra stuff. There's not like, I don't want to say anything, but there's some goofy shit in this season that gave me a Thanos hearty chuckle. So yeah, animation. It's I. Now for the story is good. It's good. It's good. Now at first when I watched it, I thought it was the best in the season. And at some points it is. I want to say that, you know, Mark and Cecil's interaction through this entire thing is really interesting. One thing I always liked about Invincible is how Mark is like a teenager with the mod or administrator like privileges. That's kind of like what Mark feels like a lot of the times. Like he feels like an actual teenager given superpowers. He's making all these really stupid fucking decisions in season 3, like really dumb, really stupid, and like kind of crazy ass decisions in this season that just like make you like, oh god, Mark, what are you doing? And it doesn't feel like Mark is like, well, it feels like Mark is an idiot, but it doesn't really harm his character at all, because he's going through this whole should I not, or should I, you know, do what needs to be done type dilemma. And we've seen this kind of dilemma before. And, you know, if you watch a lot of superhero media, there's always this kind of like turning point. There's a lot of superheroes up there, oh, should I kill? Should I not kill? Oh no. I think about this. And maybe that would get old to some people, you know, but I will say it does have that naivete angle, because it feels like Mark is just crashing out, crashing in, crashing out. He's like lashing out against the wrong people, and I feel like that kind of adds something a little bit new, like that naivete that he has for like a teenager. So that's something to consider. And characters in this season get kind of, I don't want to say sidelined. Well, no, sidelined. Because in the last season, a lot of characters had a lot of time to shine. Like a lot of them. A lot of them could stand their own. And some do, like Alan. You get a nice little Alan episode, which is really fucking good. Always love Alan, Omni-Man, like in little adventures. I always love those. But a lot of characters don't get a lot of limelight as much as they should be. I hope that changes in the next season. So let's talk about this last episode. This last episode was just so good. It makes a lot of things in the last season seem like a lot of things that happened in the last season that I didn't really like just kind of wash away with how good it is. The same thing with the episode before that. I have some problems with that episode, but I don't want to spoil. So bottom line is that I feel that episode before that, which is the Invincible War. You would probably already know that, but that episode I feel like should have been like a little bit longer, just a little bit longer. You know, I feel like the effects of that episode is like we're talking about like world like fuckery levels of just like change and maybe status quo things that the Invincible War started. We needed more information to be shown to us. Okay, I don't know if that's how it was in the comics, and even if it was, that's the beauty with animation and stuff like that. And be with just a different adaptation of something. You could show more things that probably could only be shown in animation or something. Not speaking of my ass with that point, but anyway, I just wish that last episode was long. Okay. So, best episode is the last episode, and I'd say the weakest episode for me is probably, I don't know if it's episode 4 or 3, but I'd say the weakest episode for me is probably the episode with the stone guy and just like the whole like black market underground like episode, like the stone dude comes back, Titan comes back, and I feel like that episode is just like the weakest for me. It just sticks out because it feels like they didn't go too hard with the black market concepts, and not black market but like just underground criminal organization kind of concepts. Just kind of felt like a little bit lame, and you know, yeah, I just was a big fan of that episode. And I feel like a lot, not a lot of episodes, but some episodes are, they kind of end very similarly, you know? Like, you probably wouldn't notice it, but if you rewatch, you would definitely notice it, like a lot of the episodes in that kind of monster of the week kind of way. Not that the show is monster of the week, not at all, I don't mean that, but like kind of like the characters sit down, they talk about what happened, Mark's super depressed, Eve reassures Mark, they move on. Okay, and I feel like that's definitely like a thing that happens, and and that's a little silly, honestly, but yeah, that's pretty good. Now that I'm thinking about it, talking it out, venting out my thoughts like this, I'd say season 2 is like a little bit better. It had a little bit, season 2 definitely had a little bit more going on, but I will say season 3 has the most stuff to talk about. I think that's a fair thing to say. Like, Mark's dilemma and Cecil's character in this is also really fucking interesting. Cecil's character is really good. You know something is peak when you got this Marvel Civil War level debate on the internet talking about who's right, Cecil or Mark. And just Mark's dilemma, is Mark a good hero? Is Mark like, what is Mark gonna do? Just those conversations are just really good, and I feel like those conversations are intended, and I like that. I like that a lot. So yeah, it's definitely worth watching. It's really conflicting for me if it's the worst season or it's the best one. I feel like saying the worst is a little bit too crazy. Like, I feel like you could definitely be on one end of the spectrum. There's reasons to say it's like a 60, and there's reasons to say it's a 70. You could go in between that little mark right there. But yeah, it's a good season. That last episode of Conquest just may be my top villain of all time, honestly. He only had one episode, and that is how much praise I'm giving him. I fucking love Conquest. He's just such a beautiful, interesting character. I really hope they do something more with him in like another season. I love him so much. I just love that last episode a lot as well. So yeah, that's it. Is Invincible season 3 worth watching? Absolutely. So yeah, that's
mozzarella. I write rhymes in a box of Nutella. Fight crime cause I got no Beretta. Did time cause I copped some feta. Not good enough to sub for cheddar. I want cheese, I'm a decent fella. In the sewer, don't worry about weather. Rap pack in your basement cellar, yeah. master Splinter taught me about cheese, cooking like Remy and Ratatouille. Float like a butterfly, sting like free. Trapped in a rat race, trying to be free. Parmesan, cheddar jack, even cold meat is the only kind of currency that works for me. Life gets hard from a lab to the city where the grass ain't green and the streets ain't pretty.